Pokemon you never would expect to do well at a regional championship, but this weekend they did. The Regulation C meta has been very Palafin balance heavy for the last few events, with Palafin Balance, or Palance, winning Sydney and Fort Wayne regional championships, as well as the European International Championships. However, this past weekend at the Sao Paulo and Portland regional championships, we saw some unexpected Pokemon picks do really well, and Palafin was barely in the top 8 of either tournament. Number 5, Halucha. This was a Pokemon that wasn't on anyone's radar heading into the weekend, and while Halucha may not have won the Portland Regional Championships, it still showed up in a big way when Peter Chen brought this unusual pick to get a top 32. We got a chance to see Halucha in action on stream versus Ryan Brooker, who was running an unburdened strategy of his own. Actually, the whole match featured some fairly unique Pokemon. Ryan Brooker had a Drifblim to take advantage of Psychic Seed Unburden, and then Peter Chen had his Halucha alongside Sandy Shocks. The idea behind a Psychic Seed Unburden strategy is that the Indeedee on the team will set Psychic Terrain, Halucha gets a special defense boost thanks to the Psychic Seed, Unburden then activates, and Acrobatics gets a power boost because there's no held item anymore. With Terastallization, Peter Chen was able to remove Halucha's weaknesses to the rest of the meta by changing it to a defensive Steel Terra type, making it way easier for it to secure knockouts. Number 4, Azumero. Azumero was on 2 teams in Day 2 of the Portland Regional Championships through Gavin Michaels and Randy Qua, and even made top 4 of the Sao Paulo Regional Championships through Thiago Latanzi. Azumero had a pretty strong season in 2015, despite that being the era of chalk dominance. But Azumero still found use thanks to its ability, huge power, and its fairy water dual typing. For Portland and Sao Paulo, Azumero made its way onto teams as a kind of Palafin light, but still making use of Huge Power's ability, doubling Azumero's attack stat, Priority Aqua Jet, and a physical water-type move that rivals Wave Crash in Liquidation. The key difference is that Azumero also gets Stab Play Rough, which is a great move to have versus all of the Dragon and Dark-type Pokemon in the meta, not only to deal super effective damage, but to potentially force out a Terra thanks to the threat of that move. Maybe we'll see more Azumero in the future. Number 3, Abomasnow. Snow got a pretty big change to its field effect in Scarlet and Violet. It now raises the defense stat of Ice-type Pokemon by 50%, and it no longer deals chip damage at the end of every turn. Despite this, Snow has not really had an incredible success rate outside of a few one-off performances. James Evans brought Abomasnow to the San Diego Regional Championships and got top 8, and at the Portland Regional Championships, we saw Nick Navarre bring Abomasnow to a top 4. Nick went undefeated in Day 1 with a Focus Sash set featuring Blizzard, Leaf Storm, Helping Hand, and Aurora Veil, paired with a Choice Specs Iron Bundle that also had Blizzard. In Snow, those Blizzards will always hit, dealing massive damage. There was actually a lot of weather in Portland. So before we get to the final 2 Pokemon, I want to give a quick shout out to Len Duel, who finished top 8 at the Portland Regional Championships with Lycanroc and Tyranitar. Len is known for what has been coined Lentar, a very specially defensive invested version of Tyranitar with Assault Vest to top it off. After Tyranitar sets the sand, Lycanroc does its thing, getting a nice speed boost from its Sand Rush ability to be able to go for big rock slides. Most Lycanroc, like Len's, will carry Endeavor, which is a move that sets the target's HP to be the same as the user's. If Lycanroc gets a big survival, it can then delete an opposing Pokemon's HP quickly, allowing for its partner to clean up. Okay, now for the final 2 Pokemon, both of which won their respective regional championships. Let's start with the standout Pokemon from Joaquin Salerno, the winner of the Sao Paulo Regional Championships. Number 2, Earthworm! We've seen some Earthworm on the global stage, starting with Nathan Ortiz, who got a top 16 at the Charlotte Regional Championships, and David Kutesh, who got top 32 at the European International Championships. But Joaquin Salerno just won the Sao Paulo Regional Championships with Earthworm. Earthworm is one of 2 Pokemon that gets access to a move called Shed Tail, a status move that creates a substitute from half of the user's HP and then switches the user out into another Pokemon of your choice that gets to keep the substitute. This really helps to set up another offensive threat on the team by buying them a valuable turn or 2 without taking damage. While half of your HP is a hefty price to pay to set up the substitute for another Pokemon, Earthworm can get a lot of its HP back through its Earth Eater ability, which heals Earthworm for 1/4 of its maximum HP when it's hit by a ground-type attack. Some players have even given their Earthworm a berry to hold for a more guaranteed HP recovery method. Outside of its supportive capabilities, Earthworm has an enormous defense stat that makes an iron defense plus body press strategy even more scary. Body press calculates damage based off of the user's defense stat versus its attack stat, and is a fighting type move that feels really good into all of the dark type and Terra Steel Pokemon in the Regulation C meta. And finally, number 1, Jumpluff. John Hu brought Jumpluff to a top 32 at the Knoxville Regional Championships during Regulation B, but John Hu has a reputation for taking unique Pokemon and making them work in his individual playstyle. Take Eternatus, for example, which John Hu got top 8 with at the 2022 Vancouver Regional Championships. Fast forward to Regulation C, and Jumpluff has taken a regional championship title. Third time's the charm, as Joseph Ugarte found himself in the finals of back-to-back-to-back regional championships. Joe had taken the same 6 Pokemon to a win in a Victory Road online tournament a week prior, and Jumpluff was back. With Torkoal on the team to set Sunny Day, Jumpluff gets a nice speed boost thanks to its Chlorophyll ability, so it can Sleep Powder, Encore, and Tailwind faster than most other Pokemon in the meta. Joe's Jumpluff, like John's, was carrying a Covert Cloak, but also had access to damage output thanks to Leaf Storm, which is a move that put in quite a bit of work during the finals for Joe. Wild to see the Regulation C meta crack open to showcase some really interesting Pokemon. I love getting a chance to see Halucha, Azumero, and Earthworm in action, as well as the weather setters really starting to get their foothold in the meta again. I definitely expect to see more Sun getting into future tournaments, and maybe that means a re-emergence of Pelipper? Only one way to find out, and that's to tune into future events, so I'll see you guys then.